Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sovereign Spirits, where we explore methods on how to escape the reincarnation cycle, transcend the white light, and use our intention in a willful and powerful way to manifest an afterlife as sovereign spirits. I am here with co-creator and co-host of the show, Wayne Bush.
Oh, hi, Julie. I'm glad to be with you again. Getting ready for another exciting episode.
Yes, I know it's been a minute, so sorry it's been a minute since we put out a video, but life, 3D life keeps us really busy.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we talking about today? Would you like to introduce the topic of today?
Well, today is out-of-body experiences, also known as astral traveling, which is a very important subject. And I believe you're going to share some of your more important experiences that you've had while out of body. I've heard them all, and they're quite amazing and very relevant to this matrix and how to get out. And then I believe you're going to go first, and then I'll talk about Robert Monroe and William Gilman, who are two significant pioneers in this field of research. So and I'll share some of their quotes and what they spoke about. So
yeah, huge, both of them huge influences on my experiences. So Wayne and I both feel that one of the keys to exiting the matrix or the soul trap at death could be very well related to tapping in to our natural ability to lucid dream or astral project, because it's practicing. This is a practice of staying conscious while the physical body falls into sleep, or waking up the consciousness while the physical body is sleeping or dreaming. I have recorded 67 personal out-of-body experiences in my journal, and I have had over at least 100 conscious out-of-body and or lucid dreaming experiences since September of 2019, so about 4 years now. And the little ones, the little like out of body, go out of body, right back into body, I don't really record. I don't bother recording those. So this is kind of like about 2 a month on average. Some months weeks will go by, a few weeks, and I won't experience anything. And then a few weeks will go by and I'll be boom, 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 experiencing a lot of them.
That's amazing. I've had 2 total my whole life. So congratulations. Keep doing it.
I know.
And maybe we can talk about the technique a little bit later too. That'd be nice.
Yes, I hope to do that. So yeah, I'm going to share a few interesting ones and some that are probably relevant to the idea of soul trap or using intention, which Wayne and I both feel are very important in exiting and escaping and at death and being outside of this whole deceptive, which we feel could be a deceptive matrix situation. All right, so the majority of my experiences, by the way, we both have this new, I have a new mic. Hopefully that will help with the volume. My hair is on it, so let me know if it's scratching or anything. New mic to help with audio stuff. All right.
Well, I have the same mic, but we checked a box in the audio settings that adjusts for volume, so we'll see if that makes a difference too. And I'm going to try to project a little more when I speak too, so we'll see. Yes. If not, I'll get the same mic that you have, and
I know. I have a voice that naturally projects, and you have more of a subdued, beautiful, lovely voice. And but we're trying to figure this out for the audio on the other side of whoever's listening. Doing the best we can. So, okay, so the majority of my out-of-body experiences include like spinning into a vortex that kind of pulls me along, or maybe a portal I enter into, like a door or other opening, and it's flying over an unknown city or an unknown landscape. That's pretty common. I've also met with and talked with other astral travelers, deceased people. I've been greeted by my deceased pets. So these are some of my common experiences. So, all right, I'm going to share some out-of-body examples, personal experiences of the void, of bringing back information from my out-of-body experiences that seem to me as confirmation as some kind of psychic or clear ability, experiencing two consciousnesses at the same time, visiting another planet where I was able to get the name of the planet, cool islands in the sky experience, and a couple other experiences where I asked how to get out of this matrix.
That sounds exciting and wonderful, especially the how to get out. It's good info, but
Ryan, I'm going to keep asking.
Yep.
I'm still not satisfied, but I will keep asking. So, all right, let me go down to the furthest experience here, because I don't have these quite in order. Let's see. Okay. All right. So the black void was one of my earliest experiences, and I had never heard of the black void before.
That's important. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no previous knowledge of this, and I had to look it up afterward on the internet. Like, what was that?
Yeah.
So in this situation, it was a direct method, and I'll explain that later, but it was a direct method. All of my sensations disappeared. The sound of my fan in my room vanished, and all of my basically all of my physical sensations, sound, sight, feeling, everything out like a light switch. And blackness. There was all blackness all of a sudden. I was staring into behind my closed eyes. And there was bits of lights coming through, like the windows. So that also vanished in my room. And then what came into it was like it wasn't total blackness. It was like a dark gray. But it felt three-dimensional. And so the strange thing was I didn't feel like I was floating, which is very common in my astral experiences. I just could see with my non-physical eyes. So it was peculiar for me.
You didn't have a body, an astral body or anything. Was it more like a point of consciousness there?
It was just a point of consciousness.
And also, how many of these void-like experiences have you had? Was it just this one, or was
this was my first one? I've had a few since then, but this was my first one, and I didn't know what the heck was going on. I was so conscious, so awake and aware, and so it was different from anything I had previously experienced, which wasn't. I had not experienced too many experiences before.
Was it scary, like when you're first finding yourself out there? Okay, cool.
No, not at all scary. It felt very nice and calm and peaceful. And then, so what appeared before me as I was just sitting there observing nicely and peacefully, were these geometrical shapes in white that were coming into focus and then out of focus, different ones here to the right and center and to the left and up above. It was really pretty. And I don't want to get too much into it. A couple other things came into focus, but I just wanted to point out that there was an early experience of being in this lovely, peaceful void where I saw geometrical images. Okay, so that was one of my earliest experiences. Again, like I said, I researched it to try and figure out what the heck that was, and then later discovered, oh, this is the common 3D black void thing that people do. Like, okay.
Does it sound similar to the cases of the near-death experiencers that were in a void where felt like it was everything yet nothing and all that kind of thing, or is it too hard to?
Yeah, because as you know, I've interviewed several NDEers and many who have had these black void experiences. I don't know that I would say I felt everything and nothing, but it was very neutral. It was a neutral feeling, sort of emotionally very neutral. And I was just pleasantly observing, like an observer, total observer, without judgment, without, I don't know, interpretation. I was just like, oh, okay, this is interesting. Not really making judgment calls on anything that I was observing. It was very lovely.
Okay.
But yeah, it
So,
kind of reminded me of some of the other NDE experiences.
okay. So what else? What else have you?
So another experience I had was I have experienced two consciousnesses, or being aware of two consciousnesses at the same time.
The
And
one in your bed, and then the one that your astral. No,
so three
three.
really,
Oh, okay.
then
Okay.
I guess, because yes, I have been conscious of myself in bed. And well, one time I went out of body as like a misty cloud, and I was just floating to the right of my body, and I could hear my physical body breathing below, but I was fully conscious and aware as this kind of cloudy mist above my physical body. That was two, I guess, consciousnesses. Well, I was only conscious at that moment as the misty cloudy thing, and aware of the physical body. The two consciousnesses experience was, so I'll just let you know, I became lucid in a dream, which sometimes I go out of body or I do astral stuff from a lucid dream. And then I felt vibrations. I became lucid in a dream. Then I felt vibrations in my body in bed. I rolled out a couple times. Then I walked away from my body, and I heard like my shoes clicking on the cement. My room has carpet, but I heard my shoes clicking on the cement. I bent over to feel the cement floor. And these experiences are very real. Physically, they feel very real. And I felt a strange,
More real than the reality you're in right now, or about the same, or how would you compare?
sometimes at
Sometimes.
least as real as this reality,
Okay.
and sometimes even more real. So I bent over, I felt the cement floor, I felt this strange object like soft, wet rubber. And I opened my eyes and in astral, and I thought I saw my hands grabbing sheets back in the bed. And then I closed my eyes, but I was also feeling the wet rubber object. It's kind of confusing. But back in body, I realized that I was having an astral experience. Back in bed, I was in an astral bed. This is kind of confusing unless you've gone out of body and you know what it's like to be both in bed in a physical body and you're in an astral bed, like a copy.
Sure.
And you're experiencing your astral body in an astral bed.
Right. Right.
So I was both at the same time feeling my astral body messing around with the bed sheets, and it was not my physical body. And at the same time feeling this off in the distance, this rubber object, soft, wet rubber object. So it was two consciousnesses at the same time.
That's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I realized that later, like, oh, okay, yeah, that's pretty cool. And I have read, I know of astral travelers who they are aware of themselves in not just two, but three or four consciousnesses at the same time while they're out of body. So another one I wanted to share, I guess I skipped this one in my little notes here. This one was before that one.
Okay.
It was really interesting. You know how people say, I'd love to have evidence that I was really out of body. So, which I haven't quite done that, where you go into another room and then later you go back to body and you call the person, hey, were you wearing this? And did you do this?
Right.
And they're like, yeah, I was. And then it's kind of,
Yeah.
this was evidence, but in a different way. So, I was dreaming. This is another one where I was dreaming. I became lucid, but I was dreaming and I was walking through some hallways in a hospital, which a lot of my dreams several of my dreams have been hospitals and school settings. So I became lucid, and as I'm becoming lucid, a woman catches up with me, sort of to catch me and to drug me. We can talk about this another time, but to inject me with something to put me to sleep. And I'm lying down, I'm starting to fall asleep, but as I'm falling asleep, I hear this, it's like a clairaudience, and this clairaudience thing I hear when I'm in an altered state, it's almost like you have headphones on. It's crystal clear. No mistake about it's clarity, it's loud, it's not like this kind of talking here. Again, it's like a hyper audio situation. And so I hear in this clair audience situation, like a TV. It sounds like it's like a TV, it's football. It's like I know it sounds weird, but it's like there's some kind of football game. And they're saying that Dave Hunter has decided to retire. And it's there. So then there's the vibrations are going on in my body. Okay. And then I'm thinking, okay, Dave Hunter, he's ready to retire. It's a football situation. And I kind of get a glance of the football, the TV of this football flashing game in front of me. So I hear this and I'm like, bring that name back. Bring the name back. Because it's really hard sometimes to bring names and numbers and stuff back to body.
And remember it, right.
So I come back to body and immediately I go onto the internet and I looked up Dave Hunter football retired. And the first results that came up were Brookwood High football coach Dave Hunter, who built the Broncos into the state's largest and most successful programs, announced his retirement Friday. But this was like a decade or two ago.
Was that in California too, or not?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, it doesn't matter.
But it was something that happened in the past. It wasn't recent.
I see. Okay.
So I had been tapping into a past frequency, radio station, whatever you say. But it was kind of cool to confirm it on the internet. And I'm not into football I'm not in sports or anything. Right. I would not have the foggiest idea of anything related to that. No. So that was cool for me as confirmation. Okay, another kind of cool experience I had is when I went out of body, I asked to see a higher realm, and I asked to see mountains and higher realm. And then I began to see, I'm flying as usual, very often, and peaks of white and mountain tops and tons of mountains came into view. And then I asked to see a boat. Intention is huge in these astral experiences. As soon as you ask to see something, it starts to happen for you. I asked to see a boat, and then
have you ever had instances where your intention doesn't work, like you intend for something and then it doesn't? Or like how would you say the percentages are? Like 90% of the time you get your intention, or how would you say? Okay.
A high percentage of time.
Okay.
Yeah. So then tons of boats started coming into view, and they look like gray metal, almost like subs. And then I flew over a city for a little bit, and I asked, okay, where should I go now? Like to myself, I'm talking to myself. And I said, I want to go down and talk to people. I want to meet some people. And I landed, and it was during evening hours, and I saw two men on a grassy hill among various structures and buildings. And I said, hello. And then they glanced in my direction and then said nothing. Often in these astral experiences, I'll see people like mulling around, and they don't want anything to do with me. It's almost like they're ignoring me. Like I'm not welcome, or I'm an outsider. That's my feeling I get. But I walked up close and I said, hello, my name's Julie. And then I actually, as I was walking past this building, I saw sort of a glass reflection of myself in a window, which I'm always trying to look for mirrors and reflections to see if I can see myself. And I did see my reflection, and it kind of looked like sort of a version of me, but a younger version, like in my 20s or something. And I almost look kind of plasticky and kind of flawless, which happens, I don't know why, in these experiences. And I recognized I was wearing these khaki color pants. My outfits in these astral experiences is nothing what I would normally wear. So I'm talking to these two young men, and I asked if they're okay with me talking to them, or if they were okay with people like me. And they said, like who? And I said, astral travelers, I'm from Earth. And then they got excited and they said something like, oh, we have a meetup with others who astral travel, and maybe I'd want to come back and meet with them next time. And I said, I felt like it was starting to fade. These things start to fade awfully quickly, unfortunately. And I said, quick, tell me the name of your planet before this thing fades. And they said, Gilyar. And I said, okay, wait, how do you spell that? And they said, Gilyar. I'm like, oh, okay, Gilyar. And then I began walking away, and I saw this hill full of gray-green leaves with scattered white flowers. And I wondered if, I could walk down this hill, this ground covering, and I wondered if it would be too like marshy. And then I started stepping on it, and it was solid enough and not squishy. And these experiences are so detailed, I can't even express what I see to the extent that I see them, or the physical experiences that I experience when I'm going through these astral realms. These are just little glimpses into what I'm experiencing. But that was cool because I got the name of a planet.
Yeah.
I thought.
Yeah. Did you try Googling the name and anything?
I did. And I didn't take notes.
Nothing.
And I don't have that ready for you. But
No,
yes,
it's okay.
at that time I did. And I don't remember what the results were. I don't think I found anything profound. So
Right. Just curious. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
So okay, just another quick one. I didn't even put my timer on. Dang it. So another one was where I asked for a highest realm, and I found myself flying over islands in the sky. And this was one of my more beautiful experiences. I had another one that I didn't plan to share now, which was really beautiful too. But this one was like, there were these islands literally floating in the sky. They were very close together. I could see the sky below the islands, like between the cracks. I'm above, and I could see the sky below each island.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a beautiful, comfortable day, well lit. I am assuming there was some kind of light source. I didn't see the sun, but there's blue skies and a beautiful, various island colors that you might think of. And these colors were more vibrant than here. I don't know if my vision was better or in the astral, or just everything is more vibrant and hyper real and vivid and beautiful. But the structures were a bit foreign to me because I did see various structures, and some of them were like gigantic swings, and I can only explain them as playgrounds of some sort. One island was all water. It was just an island of water, and there were gigantic dolphin-like creatures jumping up. And I used intention when I'm flying, and I used intention to turn around and fly toward the water. And I struggled a little bit to do so, and I used more intention. Go to the water, go to the water. And then I began flying toward the water, and then the water was just crystal clear. And I thought, I'm going to dive right into the water. But then a dolphin jumped up toward me, and it made me think, I don't know, maybe I'd dive into its space.
Is this the one where you heard the song "You Can Call Me Al"?
No, that was the other one that was so beautiful.
We're gonna get to that one, or no?
No, I wasn't going to share that one, but that was a really fabulous one as well. But it seems to be there are a lot of these kinds of astral dimensions or spaces, and I don't know if they're existing astral dimensions, if they are thought forms that are left over by people that create them, or consensus realities that are left over by people. There were no humans around, or people or anything around. So I don't know if it was a leftover space or what it was. I just know these things are.
It's an interesting question for sure. I don't know.
So let's see, what was the other one? The thing with intention. There was this one time I'm out of body, and I'm trying to do this motion like a doggy paddle, and I'm clapping my hands to sort of become more awake and have more clarity, really more clarity and more consciousness.
It's a good trick to do, right? To keep yourself from coming back to body, like Because during my experience, it's like I asked a couple questions, like, what is God? I don't want to like interrupt your experience, but if I
No.
would have clapped, maybe I would have come back. So, I mean, I wouldn't have come back.
Yes, just to keep grounded, really,
Okay,
in
yeah,
that particular experience, to lengthen the experience, to
right.
keep these physical astral
It's important.
experiences alive, and to be fully in that experience is really important. So in this one experience, I was in some kind of library, and then I saw a table with items on it. And then for some reason, I had never thought this before, but I thought, I'm going to write my name, because I cannot. Oh, Jesus! Sorry. I must have turned off the timer. Okay, we're just going to go and see what happens.
Oh, we'll be fine. It won't be that long.
I
It
messed
is.
with the
It'll
timer.
be. Who cares?
So, I
It's the one where you change the color of your
so
hair.
so I yeah. So I
Yeah.
wrote my name, Julie, and then I was like, oh, I can write. And then I knew
Yeah.
it wasn't a dream, because I can't write in dreams. I can't read in dreams. I can't do numbers in dreams. I'm like, oh, this is for sure astral. And then I started making my way through hallways, and I sensed an astral traveler with male energy. And I didn't want to engage, so I continued on. And then I came upon a group of astral travelers, who seemed to be practicing their skills. And I approached the female traveler and I asked her how to practice. And she said, oh, it's more like using intention is the important thing. It's willing it as if it's already done.
That's really important.
Apparently, that's what this woman said. And she looked up, and then a rope came down from above, and she grabbed it and she went off swinging. And I reached up and I said, aloud, rope. And it immediately came down from above and was in my hand. And I sensed that I had willed it there as if it was so. And then I followed after her, and I saw her fly off the rope onto the floor below, and she slid underneath a structure, and I tried to do the same. And then I made it to the floor, but didn't slide to where she was located. And she said, you used intention with will, but you didn't finish it. And then I could hear music with lyrics, and the music.
What do you think she meant by you didn't finish it? Like you didn't have enough confidence or what?
Follow through. It's some kind of
Follow
follow
through.
through with intention. You
Okay.
got to follow it all the way through.
And
I think it does
believe that it
relate a little
happened
bit to confidence.
and believe that it's already done kind of thing.
Yeah. And then I heard music, and then with lyrics, and then which happens when I start to fade back to body. I hear this like
Beautiful music.
yeah, it's like this music very loud. I'm like, oh, and I get caught up in the music and I fade back. And then this was when I went right back out again. And then a department store came into view, because sometimes I can go in and out of body a few times in one session. So I was going to say in one night, but it's not night, it's usually morning hours. So something like a department store came into view, and then I thought I saw some people standing there, and then my vision became clearer, and I saw that they weren't people, but they're headless mannequins.
Oh no.
With beautiful sequin dressings on. And then there was red and blue and green and gold, and there was these fitted V-neck like long dresses with spaghetti straps. And I thought, ooh, that'd be nice to try on one of those dresses. So I walked toward the department store, and I noticed a mirror and thought, ooh, I can see what I look like. So I turned and I saw myself, and then I recognized myself, but it wasn't exactly what I looked like. So I said, get closer to what I look like. And then the reflection became closer. And then I'm like, that's not close enough. And I said, again, get closer. And then the image became closer to what I look like. And then I was satisfied. And then I thought it'd be great to change hair color. So I said, blonde hair. And my hair turned black. But my bangs were still brown. And I said, or did I say blonde or black? And then I had bangs, which I normally don't have, but I seem to have bangs in the astral for some reason. I don't know why. And then so I think I said blonde, and then it turned blonde, and then I said black, and it turned black. I don't know. And then finally I said red hair, and then my hair turned red, and then I was just laughing. I was having way too much fun.
Yeah.
Thinking, wow, I can just turn my hair different colors. It was really
It's
fun.
easy to get distracted by all that fun entertainment, but
Oh
eventually you
gosh.
got to the point where you were asking questions about how to escape the matrix, which is really important. But
Yes. Yes. Okay. So these are all my little distracting things. And I'm
sure.
learning more, yes, okay, you have to stop being distracted by all this fun stuff. So yes, this recently I said, I went out of body and I said, how do I get out of the matrix system? And then I heard the voice of a child, and I feel like about 6 or 7 years old. And I don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but the child was using the English language. I don't know if it was my higher self or inner self. I turned, but I couldn't see the child. And the child continued to speak to me. And the voice resonated from like different spots in the rooms, as if he or she were moving around to show me that this child was not outside of the room, but in the room with me. And I told this child, I can't see you. I can't see you. Then I saw blurriness, and I reached out to touch it, and I realized I couldn't touch it. But this blurry child blew on me, breath or wind, I'm not sure. And I think it was so I could feel its presence, and as well as sense its presence. And then I had this sense like, oh, it's pure love, or like divine, or a Jesus figure or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then I began crying. So this love thing was quite overwhelming just to throw out there. And then it communicated to me that this is, and I'll just say that I don't know if this child was me, and if it was my own love being reflected back to me. And I've talked about this, but it was very powerful. So I understand some of these NDE experiences where they talk about this love and being enraptured by it. It's like, I kind of get it, because even in my out of body experiences, I've had this feeling, and I'm crying, and
Right.
so like unconditional love. So just careful with that. And this child said, look, it's all kind of a game. Don't take all of this so seriously. And deception is a part of this whole thing. And that I need to use discernment to outplay the game, so to speak. And
Use your own deception, you mean?
apparently
Against them, or
discernment
be
and some
clever?
kind of discernment, and even maybe a little deception that I
Mm-hmm.
need to use
Right.
to sort of outplay the game. And I didn't know what that meant. And just to let you know, the child said a lot to me using like some words, but it was also like, it was telepathy, but it was also direct information.
Mm-hmm.
Like one thing that came across was sort of telepathically, or I don't even know if that's the right word to use, but meditation is important. An important part of exiting the matrix is what I got. This is what I took back to memory. And then
Meditation as opposed to like lucid dreaming and out of body, you think? Like even meditation?
no,
like,
in addition, I think the impression I got was in addition to.
right.
So, I mean, I thought after I came out of this, I thought, gee, I should have asked. You always think of what you should have done or should have asked after you come back. Who is this child?
Mm-hmm.
Who was I before entering the matrix? More specifics on how to exit. How do you know this information? Why is there all this suffering if this is a game?
Right. Yeah.
How
I'd
is
say you did pretty good
perceived?
to do even what you had the presence of mind to even do what you did.
It's
So
hard to
yeah.
remember some
Yeah.
of the stuff. Okay, I hope I'm not skipping anything.
Yeah, I was proud on my very first OBE that I had the presence of mind to say, like, who is God and what's the meaning of life? And I didn't get any answer, and I waited. And then I guess I got just, how I didn't clap my hands, and somehow I just ended coming back because I was waiting for an answer, and I guess, fell back into sleep again. but
All right, I'll share one more. All right, so I go into somersaults, into a vortex, again, portal. I screamed with intensity this time. Tell me how to exit the matrix. I'm getting frustrated by this. This was recently.
yeah, I know.
I landed in darkness and silence. I thought it might fade again, and I began reaching out to feel something to, spark my sensations. I felt a stretchy mesh, as if I was in some kind of enclosed in a womb or something of sorts. And I wondered how this could possibly be the void. And I had the idea that if I stretch the mesh enough, I could push my way through it. And then I heard a voice, and I thought, could the voice be another distraction? I just feel like I'm always distracted in these lucid dreams and astral projections. The voice sort of sounded like Darth Vader, kind of. It wasn't as deep, but it was as if there was a voice box to change the identity of the voice. It said, yes, this is the void. This is the answer to your question regarding the matrix. You are numbered among those who want to exit. And then he began to explain the steps to exit. And then a monitor.
Like, take a number.
No. You are one of the number. Okay, another one. Number 1 million, So a monitor appeared before me, and it was not 360 degrees, but just in front of me. And then it was like flat screen and color. And it was like an electronic circuit design. And the voice was separate from the screen. I couldn't hear what he was saying due to primarily, I felt like the volume seemed too low. And the first half, he was explaining me. And then the second half, he was explaining how to exit. And I kept telling him that the volume was too low and I wasn't catching all he was saying. Then it began to fade. And I began like kicking and screaming to keep the connection alive. And then I fell into a dream state and was dreaming of.
But you're kind of like, were you like screaming at him, like, please speak louder? I mean, were you like kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I was getting really frustrated.
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this: Do you feel like you would, if you would have said move inward, like if you would have kept going deeper and deeper? I guess you were as far as maybe you could go if he was saying yes, you're in the void, or not. You feel like you should always keep saying inward, 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 even more.
I feel like now I've learned that maybe I should keep going inward.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know we talked about this. Wanted to make sure we got it out in the interview, or in the episode. Keep pressing on.
That's a lot of there's a handful of some interesting and
very interesting, especially the last couple ones, and the one you had last night too was good, but not quite at the same level.
Right. Look, if I have some really interesting ones in the next month or two, I'll come on and share it with y'all. If there's any information I come upon, I'll go ahead and share a little bit of the method that I've used over the last few years. You guys have probably heard of, you can look these kinds of things up, but I do like Michael Raduga, his methods.
Right. He wrote the phase. He's the one that wrote the phase. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's worked for me. But
I was having some success with it too. I was getting vibrations and almost out, and then I got distracted by life again. And but it seemed pretty helpful for me too. Yeah.
I just, take a break if you need to take a break. If you're trying this stuff for on and you're getting discouraged, take a break and then come back to it. And I have had the experience where I have a little break and then I come back and it's like, oh, it starts to work again. And I don't know why.
Yeah. But so you use some of his techniques when you
yes.
What is your favorite method to use? Or what are the different ones?
Honestly, the wake back to bed method is my favorite method. So there's the direct method, and then when that fails, I would, indirect method. Indirect usually is the best one.
And what are those?
And this is just getting out of body. This isn't staying out of body. Staying out of body and maintaining it is a whole other different kinds of techniques. So I would suggest this as a beginner, about 3 times a week. Wake up 2 hours before you normally do. Go to the bathroom, brush your teeth, drink some water, go back to bed. In other words, wake yourself up a bit, but not too much. Just assume, this is the indirect, that you're going to go back to sleep.
Like what, 5 minutes, but no more than an hour, maybe?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, so what you do is you want to keep your consciousness, like if it's direct, okay, you want to keep your consciousness on the edge of being awake. So if you fall back to sleep too easily, then you adjust your wake up time to 1 hour before you normally get up. But if you are too awake, then adjust your time to 3 hours before you normally get up. So this can be adjusted by how much time you stay awake. It can be anywhere from, like you said, from a couple minutes to 50 minutes maybe. And usually for me, I fall asleep usually pretty quickly. So I think I need to stay up a little bit longer. But
so I fall asleep very quickly, so I should be up at least 50 minutes or an hour is what you're thinking.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you go back to bed and you mentally sway your non-physical body within your physical body to any extent that you can. That might sound weird to somebody who's not used to this, but you just kind of like want to feel it in your head area. You don't move your physical body, but you're kind of imagining yourself swaying inside of, swishing back and forth inside your body, almost like water. So try this for about 10 minutes or so. And if it doesn't work, then you'll fall back to sleep. And every time you find yourself waking up, you can try the indirect method, which is like you go to sleep, you wake up and you do all that stuff, and you might try the direct method and try to keep yourself awake as you fall back to sleep. So let's say you fall back to sleep. Then you find yourself coming out of a dream, or you just simply find yourself waking up an hour or two later. Anytime you're waking up, you are primed to exit your body. If you feel a swaying, in your non-physical, in your physical body, or vibrations, or you feel floating, or you feel sinking, these are all signs like exit, get up and exit, stand up, walk away from your body immediately, or have the intention to levitate or roll out of your body. And I will say that when you get up, it's going to feel very similar to like you're physically getting up, but just get up. And then once you're away from your body, immediately and with some urgency, I would say set out to complete whatever goals you have intended for yourself, flying to the location that you want to fly to, or whatever. If you want to meet a loved one, a deceased loved one, and have that intention, whatever it is you want to do. For me, these days, it's like, I want to know my origins before ever coming to this earth, and in the first place, and how to exit what I feel is maybe a deceptive matrix or trap of some sort, possibly. I just want to know how to get out and not reincarnate.
That was your last attempt, right? Last night or yesterday, you wanted to try to find out before your incarnation, like where you were, and right?
Yes, my origins. Yeah. Who was I before I came here?
Yeah.
If you don't feel any of these sensations immediately upon awakening, like the swaying and the vibrations or anything like that, then just try to physically mentally imagine, not physically, mentally imagine your non-physical swaying back and forth in your physical body. And you do this for a minute or so, and then go back to sleep. And you try again every awakening, like every time you wake up. So, and
what's the one with Michael Raduga where he's like having you try all these different things like swimming and
it's different things to tap into your non-physical. So the swaying back and forth, the swimming motion, the clapping your hands always has helped for me.
Robert Monroe was talking about rolling out or pulling yourself up,
rolling out,
sitting up or standing up, right? There's different methods that might work for some people but not others. And by the way, that Michael Raduga, he's got like a 3-part thing on YouTube, and like what is the end of the second part we listened to, where that was like the best part, where he was
yes.
yeah,
And the second,
people can check that out. It's all free. I think his book is free too, The Phase. Is that correct? I think.
yeah, it's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So some tips I might throw out there is keep a journal of what you experience as you fall asleep and what you experience as you wake up between sleeping cycles, like tingles, falling sensation, vibration, sleep paralysis, clairaudience, clairvoyance images, tugging on your arm, leg, hand, foot. Keep a journal of those kinds of experiences.
The vibrations, right, are big.
Well, for me, they're very good for me.
Well, I had one where my bed was shaking when I was like 20 years old. I thought it was in an earthquake. And then when I was at hospice with my grandmother, I felt somebody tugging on the inside of my leg. And I thought, like, somebody's trying to abduct me. And I got scared and shut it down. But that could have been a great experience for me if I would have just let go.
But you didn't know. It's a learning experience here. But
and don't be afraid of sleep paralysis, right? People could freak out and things like that. Just relax, right?
Yes. Relax into it. That could be a perfect time to go out of body. I was just going to say another tip is create a feeling of peace within yourself and almost lightheartedness if you're going to intentionally try to go out of body. It has to be the best experiences are when you're in a good state of mind and you're feeling light and peaceful.
So let go and let it like try to amplify it, like right? I would imagine.
Oh yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are my best.
That's how I got out. So I started feeling the tingling, the vibration, and instead of like getting scared, I just like, oh, bring it on. I just wanted to try to let it become stronger and stronger, and it worked for me.
And then after standing up out of your body or rolling out of body, immediately walk a few feet away from your physical body that's sleeping in bed. That's another tip. And I will say that I do question all of my lucid dream and astral experiences. I question what I've experienced, the information I receive from other beings and entities, and my own interpretations of my experiences.
Right.
I do not assume the information I receive is correct. I consider it like carefully with all other experiences and information I've gathered and try to make some general flexible conclusions.
Yeah, the other thing I want to ask is you put up protection before you go to sleep, right? You put up protection, and then like we're saying, maybe like you mentioned that one OBE where they're injecting you with drugs or something like that. Like you can also set up an intention not to be interfered with, because that's what we're thinking, is that they're trying to interfere with our dreams and keeping us from finding out the truth. And
so
those are important steps before you do it, right?
Yeah, I think protections, and verbally, intentionally say, I do not accept any interference. I will not accept and agree to anybody interfering with my astral projection, lucid dream experience. Because I have had a handful of these beings, like I wake up and they're drugging me. They're injecting something to make me go unconscious.
I woke up one time and I heard, go to the light, go to the light. Like they were whispering it to me over and over. Like I heard it twice right as I was coming out of my sleep. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
and I guess some people, they might be tempted to talk to like a spirit guide or something like that, or their higher self. I guess that's up to each person, but I mean, how do you feel about that? It's a little risky or what?
I would say, look, if you're going to do that, just like anybody you meet on the street, use discernment and just use your own, like, protect yourself. Don't just assume that what they're saying is truth.
And so some of the techniques are like, I picked up from like William Buellman, which I'll talk about later, but like move inward, clarity now. He says like higher self now, but you could maybe say inner self now. I mean, there's different things you can do, like the clapping of your hands you mentioned, and
a few unusual discoveries for me is, like I mentioned, one was when you get out of body, it feels very physical. So you'll second guess yourself and you will think, oh, I'm getting up in the physical. And then you go back to bed only to realize later, oh, I was in my astral. I should have just kept going. Just keep going. Yeah. You might see very real images before your non-physical eyes, or hear very crystal clear music or voices with your non-physical ears. I've often lifted my astral arms and legs while my physical body is asleep. And I look at my arms and legs with my non-physical eyes, and I'm aware my physical eyes are closed. This is all in a completely conscious state. And my non-physical arms and legs are very strong and solid and translucent bluish with electricity like shooting around my limbs. That was unusual. Like we said, while you're in bed, clap your astral hands in front of your face and try to feel and see and hear them clapping. This will deepen your astral state, making it easier for you to get up out of your physical body. There's often a sound. I hear clairaudient sounds in the altered state while I'm in bed all the time. It's almost like a radio station. Sometimes you hear static, and then there's like a frequency. It's shifting to try and get into a certain, I think it's just shifting dimensions of where I'm going to be exiting. Don't be distracted by that. You can be lying in bed and yet, allow, this is kind of weird. Like, so you're lying in bed and you could, it's confusing because you feel solid, and then yet one of your astral arms will slip through the mattress onto the other side. Or you get out of body and you feel like you can push your arms through the ceiling or through a wall only halfway. It's
so
like
you get stuck
semi-solid. You get kind of stuck. That's kind of confusing.
How do you get out of that? You just keep pushing through, or is there anything you do? Relax or what?
I've been stuck in a wall.
Set an intention, unstuck.
And I have to convince. It's almost like using intention to convince your way out of it. I don't know exactly. I don't know all the physics behind it, the metaphysics behind it. But you don't be distracted. Don't be thrown off by that. Just keep moving forward and use positivity in a sense and intention to try and work yourself through that. Don't allow that to get you thrown back into your body. Another thing that was unusual is the astral realm, right? When you walk out of body, that first frequency or dimension is it can be very fuzzy, but then you can immediately go into a very realistic or a hyper realistic realm. And it's kind of surprising at first.
Without saying clarity now, or just happen?
Yeah, it can.
Set an intention.
But if you're in that fuzzy realm, I would say highest self now or clarity now. Try to go to one of the more hyper real.
The other thing, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh no, if you have something else to add, I was going to ask something else.
I was just going to say, I have come upon some negative entities or energies.
I was wondering about that too.
I would suggest remain neutral to almost cheerful, with a position of like mild sympathy to compassion. And this seems to make these energies back away from me.
I had something, I don't know if it was an OBE, it felt more like a remote viewing or something. It was because it was kind of gray, but I had this big ogre or pirate kind of big old being come at me with his arms outstretched like he was going to hug me and crush me or something like that. And I just reached out and like hugged him, and he just dissolved into thin air. And so I don't know what that was about, but it worked for me. The other thing too is what about like setting intentions throughout the day? Like, you got to be serious about this. I mean, it really helps to be determined and just to set throughout the day. And then there's like these checks you can do too, just see, am I dreaming, things like that.
Yes, I missed that. It's funny, the lucid dreaming and the astral projection techniques and checks there's a lot of crossover, but throughout the day, thinking about it, reading about it, talking about it, doing these checks. Am I awake? Am I in a dream? Several times a day. All of this, like being really engrossed in it, somehow helps you get out of body or have a lucid dream. I don't know why, but it's focus, like training the subconscious. Like, this is what I want to do.
Right. Exactly. And so like a difference between lucid dream and out-of-body experience, and you said there's crossover. You think one's more valuable than the other, or they're both valuable? Or like you said, sometimes you have a lucid dream and you can catapult from a lucid dream into an OBE. Is there anything you wanted to mention about the differences between the two, or how to get started? Is one easier than the other?
You will hear various opinions on this. I personally feel that consciousness is on a spectrum, and you can call it lucid dreaming or astral projection, and you can use them interchangeably, because even in a dream or a lucid dream, you could have well, I've heard that you can have a loved one that's passed on enter into your dream or lucid dream. So then how is that subjective if you have this independent entity come into your dream state? Or in an astral experience that is supposedly fully like objective, like it's not, you can't control everything in an always in an astral projection. Yet you can manifest to a certain degree what you want to see or experience. There's a lot of crossover. It's not that clear to me. And I don't know that I haven't heard anyone that really has a specific answer.
And for those who are just new to all this and they're just newbies or whatever, like, so lucid dream is basically a dream in which you become aware that you're dreaming, and then you can kind of take control of it and finish the dream yourself or do whatever you want. You know what I mean? That's what a lucid dream is where you become aware that inside of the dream that you're dreaming, and then you can take more control over it. Whereas you think with OBEs, you have just as much control, or how would you?
Well, some would say that a lucid dream is strictly you're dreaming and then you become conscious in your dream. Oh, I'm having a dream. My body's back in bed, and I'm Julie. I know who I am. I know everything about my self-identity. And I know that this is all a fabrication or an illusion, and you're aware of that. That's a lucid dream. And some would say an astral projection or an out-of-body experience is you have to start from vibrations in your bed, and then you actually step outside of your body, and then you exit from there. I don't know that there's some truth to that, but I know that I have fallen from I've rolled out of body and gone into an astral projection, and then lost some consciousness and fell into a lucid dream. You can fall from being in sort of what seems like an independent dimension that you're not controlling. You didn't create the dimension or what you're seeing before you, and you can use intention to move around and do things, but it's not like you can manifest things in this dimension that you're in. And then my consciousness starts to slip, and I fall into a lucid dream or even a dream state.
Yeah.
Or go from a dream state to a lucid state to an out of body. It's like I said, it's like this spectrum, and it's really all about consciousness.
Right. Level of consciousness. Well, I don't know. We don't have a timer, but it did think maybe we've been talking quite a while. Maybe we should just do a separate segment for the other Robert Monroe and William Buhlman, and maybe we can add a couple of remote viewers in. And there's like another person who emailed me with a lot of their out-of-body experiences. What do you think about that? I don't know how much time we've already been going.
No, I messed up. I thought I pushed.
It's okay. It'll give us a different show to do if we want.
Yeah, I don't know how long we've been going. I'm sorry.
I
tried to go through it pretty quick.
Too.
I wasn't sure if we were going to share some of the Buhlman and Monroe stuff, which is pretty important. But I guess we could share that later if you want.
Either way, I don't know. It's up to you. What do you think is best? But we can do either or.
Okay. Sure. So we could share that on our next episode.
Okay.
And just have this be like, this is my experience.
Sure. Right.
For what it's worth.
Yeah, and I guess, would you say, like, I know from my own personal experience, like my second out-of-body experience, or maybe it was my third, I don't really know. That's like you're saying, it's kind of hard to tell what's lucid and what's OBE, but I got real frustrated because I found myself in a closet, and it didn't look like my closet. It was just kind of dark, and I got so frustrated, like, oh, this is ridiculous. Like, this isn't helpful. I'm in this stupid closet. This isn't a very good experience. I just shut it down. I think it just really blocked me from wanting to. So I'd say don't get discouraged. Like, if you don't have this magnificent OBE where you're flying or getting all the answers to the universe, just keep on trying and keep doing that journal and don't give up.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think the majority of experiences of astral well, projectors, I think, and out-of-body experiencers, they're little minimal, like out of body, and they're in their bedroom and they go back to body. That's the majority of them.
Yeah. So
And
like, yeah, if
then
that keeps happening, just stay with it, right? Don't get
stay with
discouraged.
it. And then you will have every once in a while these experiences that kind of blow you away, and you're like, okay. And some people will say the astral realm is still the matrix, is still trickery and deception. And
Sure.
if there is a way, some people think there's a way to go to dimensions outside of the trickery, the astral realm. I don't know. Personally, I really do want to try to go inward, and because I am counting on that my highest consciousness, my true essence, has the answers somewhere
Yeah.
embedded in me that my brain and this physical being just can't know right now. But if I
Hmm.
inquire within, then
Yeah.
I will be able to maybe find some answers. So I'm going
That's
to,
what I would have done differently. I would have said, go to the innermost core of my spirit being or something along those lines and just keep going inward, 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 inward. And then set that intention to know what my first memory was before incarnating anywhere, and what is my true spirit essence, who am I? And instead of just, I was up at that vantage point, like above Earth, and I saw like this brown sandy, I don't know if it's above Earth, but it looked like from a bird's eye view above, like, you see those images on like Google Maps and everything. And I was there, and I just said, well, who is God and what is the meaning of life? And I got no answer whatsoever. And I just got bored and came back to bed. I mean, just like you're saying, I should have clapped my hands or something. But if I get that next chance, I'm definitely going inward to the innermost core of my being. And yeah. So that would be my advice to people too. Don't get distracted by all the cool flying around, and because I think most of the people that are watching these podcasts are interested in who they really are, and why they're here, and how to get out
get
if they
out.
don't want to be here, right? So
Yeah, and I would just say that my hope is on that we are sovereign spirits, and that ultimately, I mean, I have to go move forward personally on based on the belief,
premise.
universal cosmic belief, like that free will and or at least sovereignty is real, and because otherwise I don't know
Sure.
how else we're going to get out.
Yeah.
So, and I
Well,
do,
the fact that we can manifest things instantaneously and teleport instantaneously in OBEs and near-death experiences, especially near-death experiences, because that might be the initial glimpse of what it's like to be dead until there are
yes,
people revived and brought back, resuscitated. So maybe the fact that they're able to teleport and manifest, that's a good indicator that we do have some sovereignty, or hopefully total, complete sovereignty.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hopefully, I mean, based on experiences, what else do we have is our own personal experiences and the experiences of others to sort of guide us and give us some glimpses into what could be.
Right.
So,
If we don't have total free will, then there's nothing we can maybe do anyway. And what's the point? But you got to act on the belief that we
okay.
do, and I think there is good evidence that we just may have that. So,
Yeah, yeah. So I would still say to everyone, upon death, use protections, and then regain your memories of your origination, where did you come from and who are you, and just sit back and don't be led in any one direction by the light, by a tunnel, by loved ones, supposed loved ones, or angels, or
go inward as
spiritual
opposed to
figures.
being,
Just go inward and sit and chill
with
and
protection around, right?
with your protection for a
And
little bit.
reclaim your initial memories before you. And I would set that intention as part of our affirmation that we have already, is to go beyond any deceptive matrices. Like, we are outside of any and beyond any deceptive matrix whatsoever. So, use the protection and go beyond any deceptive matrices. So you're outside of that, and then recollect your memories of before you came to any place. Where were you as a true spirit essence before you
get to know
get
yourself
anything.
again.
Yes.
Don't let
And
other people or other entities or beings influence you. Get to know yourself.
yeah.
There's no rush. There's only eternity. You don't have to rush into anything.
Yeah, but I would do those things immediately at death. You have to have a plan, I think, before death, and
Yes.
focus
Have
on
a
it.
plan, and I would encourage the like
Like I
studying.
wouldn't just hang outside your body, for a while and go, oh, this is really cool. Oh, look at my body, and oh, gee, I wonder what my Uncle Fred's doing. I think I'll go. No, it's like
No, that's a little
you put up
risky.
that protection immediately. Yeah, and you teleport out or whatever. You're setting an intention to go beyond the matrix to like freedom or however you want. I mean, some people say home, but I think that's a little risky. But then, so you get out and then you recollect your memories. But you need, in my personal opinion, you should just do that immediately. Why sit around?
Don't take any chances. Why?
Right,
Why?
right.
You don't need to take any chances. Yeah.
No. So anyway, I hope this
So
episode was helpful for people. You have anything else you want
no,
to
I
add
think that's it. I
or
mean, I think I covered everything. Guys, feel free to leave comments or questions. I'll try to answer best I can.
yeah, we
Yeah.
can pick up on the Robert Monroe and William Buellman and maybe a couple of those remote viewers that have verified the Matrix as a trap and don't go to the white light. I mean, they've literally remote viewers that one being Courtney Brown of the Farsight Institute and the other being Brett Stewart. They were both saying, as of the last few years, that yes, there is a grid around the Earth, and don't go to the white light, and they are farming us for energy basically, and so all that stuff has been verified independently by remote viewers. So take it for what it's worth. I'm not saying that makes it the truth or anything. I'm just saying
Something
it's
to
more
consider.
evidence.
Yeah.
Every area I look at, whether it's out-of-body experiences, near-death experiences, remote viewing, there's so many across the board that are all saying the same thing. So it's not just, oh, I have a hunch, but
Right.
so, all right, well.
Okay, so I mean, thanks everyone for listening, and yeah, hopefully some of this was interesting or useful, hopefully useful to you. And yeah, we'll do another out-of-body astral experience type of episode probably next, I'm thinking.
Yes, absolutely. It's ready to go basically. So yeah.
Ready to go. So we'll do that. Thank you to everyone watching. This has been Julia McVey and Wayne Bush with
Sovereign Spirits.
If you enjoyed this discussion, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like this type of content, please subscribe, click on the bell icon so you're alerted to future videos, share the video, get the word out and all of that, because this content is just not getting out. All right. So I guess that's it. We hope you have a great day.
Yep. Thank you, everyone.
Wherever you are on the planet. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.